Good morning. Come on, good morning. Well, I'm like, it's early in the morning and we're just acting like it's late in the afternoon. Well, this is sort of interesting. This is a Shakespearean theater. I cannot act. I can act the fool, but I cannot act. But no, it's really, how you doing? I see people, I like the point. You know, this is election year. Anyway, well, it's a pleasure to be here. This is my third FedScoop, and as the administration winds down, so does my time. And it's been really great to learn something about this very different world from the one that I came from. You guys do know that you're a very different sector of folk, right? A special cadre of governmental insight and the ultimate in bureaucracy. You do know that. And there's a whole set of things just set to support you and to make you special. And it's been so nice for you to invite me in and wonder why this alien came to your planet. And that's what it feels like. It's like an alien coming to a planet. But I thought about this and I said, well, Goldie, what do you want me to talk about? You know, people don't just want to hear me pontificate on stuff. She said, whatever you like. And so I asked my team. I get a lot of energy from my team. I said, what do we talk about? I said, should we talk about leadership? Should we talk about what to do? And they said, well, let's talk about what's going to happen to us. We got transition. And that's a big deal here. Like when the president changes, it's like really interesting. You know, in private industry, you get a new boss and you lay low for a minute, because if you stop doing your job, you could disappear. You know, you're just sort of not there anymore. But you don't really worry about it at the level I see here. In fact, I had people having me leave in May, June, July, August, September. They finally have decided, I guess she's going to stay. She's going to stay. I've been saying from the beginning, I will be here until January 20th. That was the commitment that I made. That was the tour of duty. And I take that tour and my responsibility seriously. I don't take myself that seriously, but I do take that seriously, and I'm going to do what I said I would do. However, since May, in fact, I think somebody even had me leave in February. I think that was just wishful thinking. But the fact is, I thought about this, and I see people asking me, well, what's going to happen to us? And, you know, or what's going to happen to all the work we've done? And how are we going to survive this? And, you know, for me, it was an odd question. It was really an odd question. And I'm sure some of you are going through the same question right now. And it seems weird that every 4 years you would go through that. And so I thought about it. And I thought about it through the viewpoint of, if you're looking through an aperture and you see yourself, you know, we all have roles. And for me, I play a lot of different roles. Sometimes a little schizophrenic to my husband, or maybe to my son. He doesn't know who he's going to wake up with. But I enjoy being the different people that I am, from being a mom to a wife to a very good friend, I think, to a business executive, all the way to a person that loves to support others. I do enjoy service, and I love my country. There is no question, even with all its warts. I think, you know, there's no such thing as perfection. What there is your acceptance of who you are. And as a leader, I lead in all these spaces in which I stand. I have to. People count on me to do so. And they count on you to do so. But when your aperture sort of just what's going to happen to me, it can be sort of narrow. And I think people sell themselves short. And that's what I've shared with my team. I said, stop selling yourself short. You act like you should, you know, I should be happy. Well, you should be happy that I dated you or something, and then that I didn't dump you. You're always waiting for somebody to dump you and not like you. I said, that's not the way you get a good date. You know, you act like you're worth being with. You act like you're worth staying with. You act like I got a plan, and if you stay with me, you can be a part of it. You don't act like you're doing me a favor. And so I've never felt like I was doing a favor. I felt like I was given a gift. And so my role as a leader tells me one of the things that I know is you always have to prepare for the unknown. I mean, we don't know when we walk out of this room what's next. We have an idea. We certainly have a plan. We have certain things you plan to do today. You put it on your calendar, but you really didn't know what to expect when you got here. You were just hoping there was something of value to you. And so when you start, you sort of just don't know. But there's a lot of things you do know. But you do know yourself. If you don't know yourself, look in the mirror, introduce yourself to yourself, and say, I know you. Because at the end of the day, I've always been able to know what I'm willing to do. Nobody can tell me more of what I'm willing to do and how I'm willing to commit than myself. There is no one that knows me better than me. No one. And so the reality is you got to prepare for the unknown, and you prepare for it by doing what you do. You plan for success. When you're walking into a space, and this was a very unusual space for me, and one in which, as my husband and I were thinking about this ask, why would I do this? And I didn't really know if I could be successful. But then I said, well, I'm going to plan for success. I'm going to come in, regardless if I know the team, regardless if I know anything other than what I read, which was not real positive at that point about the VA, I was going to plan to be successful. That plan of action is the same plan you have to wake up with every day. You don't plan to walk out and get hit by a car or to have some kind of accident happen to you, but you know people that happens to every day. You plan to have a successful day, a successful life, and at times it happens and sometimes it doesn't. So I planned for success in coming here against the unknown, against what was really an interesting view. And so setting up goals, setting up a strategy, thinking about the things that motivate me and motivate others, even though I didn't know them, even though I didn't know how they would respond, even though I'm not military, even though I'm a woman, and all this, I plan to be successful. And so the thing I know about success and what it takes to be successful is you got to build a coalition. You got to build a team. You got to get people to want to work with you. You got to get them excited. All of you had done this. You've done this. And this transition makes no difference. You've already got a team. You're not a team of one. I value team. I use the word team. I like being together. I like accomplishing things together. And I think it's important that when you have difficulties and issues and areas where you have to succeed, and we had major concerns that we had to surmount, things that hadn't been done since 1998, we have gotten done. Why? Not because of me, but because of the team. Because I was willing to assume success in who they were and how they stand, who they are, and in dealing with them. And so when we had to cross the river and figure out some way of being innovative and figure out how we're going to get through those storms, we could do that. That coalition is everything. I remember very clearly there was about 5 people that one had given out their resignation. Another one said, I'm leaving. I had about 5 core folks that were going to leave. And one said, this is my last week. And I remember it well. I don't know if he's in the audience or not. But I looked at him and I said, well, why would you leave? I just got here. And he looked at me like, this woman is really crazy. I said, but why would you leave now? He says, well, I couldn't get done what I wanted to do. I said, but you're giving up the chance. If you really came to do something special, if you really came to go after this mission, why would you leave now? He didn't. Neither did the other 5. And they were critical to that coalition. In fact, I couldn't have done any of the things we've done without them. And so you're not in this alone. And it's not about what's going to happen to you. You're going to build this coalition. You're going to go through some peaks and valleys and climb some mountains and get through the forest, hit a few trees, get a couple of splinters, dust yourself off, have 15 hearings in 1 year. Yes, I did. Would I have ever thought that that was even probable? No, I did not. Did I walk into any of those hearings thinking I wouldn't be successful? No, I did not. The fact is, I had a team of people who were prepping me and telling me what I needed to know and making sure that I was okay. I probably prepped very different than they're used to. I think it was interesting because I would tell them, call the Hill and find out what they want to know. So what? Call the staffers and find out what they want to know. It's a hearing, right? You want to hear? I want to make sure I tell them what they want to hear. I know, really, yeah. I did get a feedback from one of the Congress people. He says, I thought that was ingenious. He said, my staff would go crazy. What does she want? Why does she want to talk to you? I would always want to talk to the chair people. I want to talk to them. He said, why would you want to do that? It said, well, what does she want? They said they want to know, she wants to know what you want. He said, that was ingenious. I said, well, it was a hearing. I figured you wanted to hear, but if I don't know what you wanted to hear, I couldn't be prepared to make the hearing successful. That's how you roll. So you got to make it happen. You got to figure it out. You get through the peaks and valleys. You take the coalition. You get it done. And your aperture, if you see this round area, your view gets broader. Your view gets broader every time you bring someone else in. They see things you can't see. They even see you in a way you didn't even see yourself. I can tell you the team saw me very differently than I saw myself. I'm not military, but they saw me military. They said, oh, ma'am, you're the equivalent of a 3-star general, 4-star in some places. I said, 3 or 4 stars. I said, is that a designer or who, what? Huh? Why are you guys standing up? Why is all this happening? Why are people walking me around? They saw me differently. And one of the things I realized, to make it happen for them, I had to let them see me the way they needed to see me. I couldn't make them see me like I saw myself because that was not the paradigm that made them the best they could be. So it was okay. If they needed to stand when I walked in, okay, stand, abba dabba, have a seat. But that made them feel fine, and that was important. And so, every leader has a time. Every person has a time. I think anything I've done in making a transition to various roles that I have, from coming from a partnership to going to Dell, to going to J&J, to going back into my own company, to here. All those things required change, and huge change, and a willingness to believe, not only in myself, but that others would come and they would help plot the future. And so when the team is asking me, what's going to happen to us, ma'am? If you leave, what's going to happen? I said, nothing's going to happen. We have a plan. You've navigated it. You've seen that you can. You understand what's next. If that plan existed when I arrived, I would have got on board with you and helped make it even better. Now it's here, you go. So it's not what's going to happen to me, it's what's going to happen with me. It's what you should say. What's going to happen with me? The need to continue to have momentum, the need to continue to be able to focus on the future and really fulfill yourself, fulfill your mission, fulfill what your coalition has made you the leader of, all drives the future. It is not to be reset every 4 years. Not at all. For us, the veterans are everything. And that mission propelled me to do any hearing, any adversity, any innovation. I used everything in my 30 years of experience, 30 plus. I'm shortening it as I get older. It'll be 30 like when I'm 80. It'll still be 30. But I will tell you in all sincerity, every leader has a time, regardless of who they are. They have a purpose, and they have a way of helping you with your destiny. Accept it for that time and be prepared when it's time for them to move, that you also move. You're capable of doing so. You don't restart. You just regain that energy and help them and guide them and move them forward. There is absolutely no fear in what you do. And as a private citizen, I thank you for what you do. I aspire for those of you that are aspirational and always push yourself. And unlike the gentleman that stopped me in the store, our little store in the VA, and he said to me, "Oh, you're little Patton. I couldn't work for you." Yes, he did. And I looked at him and I said, "Oh, that's sad. That's sad. You probably couldn't." So with that, remember, make your transition just like any leader can. It's no big deal. And so instead of saying, what's going to happen to me, it's about what's going to happen with me. You guys will be just fine, and I'll be back doing what everybody does outside the bubble. You guys don't want to even know. Thank you. Have a good one.